When working with a really thick denim seam, I want to show you a couple tricks that'll help you get up and over that really thick part. So I've gone ahead and just stitched together two pieces of denim. One of the things you can do for a little, we're going to deviate for a second and cheat using the blind hem foot. Foot number 3, that's the one that has the little red guide. We could adjust this for a little top stitching episode. I love to do this in my class, where you can take and move the needle position to say the far left side and do a little top stitching down here. I'm just guiding that little red mark down the fold or the seam, and then I'm getting a perfect top stitch. One of the things I like to show is that one foot can be used for other things. See how nice and perfect that is? If I didn't have that guide, I wouldn't have been that straight. I would have been a little crooked as we go. So then if I go back to a regular presser foot that I was using with the dual feed, and then turn up the fabric 2 times. So what happens here when you get that really thick seam as you go? Now, honestly, this fabric isn't really thick, but you know what I'm talking about. We're talking about when you actually have those denim jeans, maybe you are doing something with a really thick bag, is when you actually start to stitch, one of the things that you might want to do is lengthen the stitch length. If you make that stitch length to, let's see here, not width, but length, to 3, for example, it's going to make going up and over something really thick a lot easier. So if you shouldn't have to push your fabric when you stitch. You should always just let the fabric kind of be pulled in. So the more movement of the feed dogs, the more pull that will do over something really thick. The next thing I like to do is set my needle to stop in the down position, because what we're going to do is use the multi-purpose tool to help get up and over the seam. Now normally I could probably just go right over this, especially if I had a denim needle in, but let me show you a little trick. So see how the foot's kind of starting to angle up on the seam? If you lift up your presser foot, slide the tool just up to the seam, pretty much make the foot level by sitting on the tool. Now it's going to come over the top of that hill, the ridge or plateau, and not have to feel like it's trying to work itself up the mountain. Same thing when you come off of something that's really thick and you don't want that one long stitch to happen, you can put the little multi-purpose tool in front of the needle and then just stitch until your foot kind of clears that back part. You also notice that I'm stitching on what? The top side. The top side, that's why they call it top stitching, is so you really can get a nice looking stitch when you're done. So what we have here is a stitching that looks all equal. Every stitch is nice and equal as it goes up and over something really thick. So this is a great tool to use. Lengthening out your stitch length. If it was really thick, you could go up to maybe 3.5 for stitch length. And then don't forget, if you want to cheat with a little top stitching, use your foot number 3, your blind hem foot / overlock foot, to give you lots of options to stay nice and even. Just move your needle position. If you want that if you want that stitch to be a little bit more defined, remember you can use the triple straight stitch, stitch number 1, and do the exact same thing instead of just a single straight stitch. So denim shouldn't be any problem. I did have the dual feed engaged, so that is helping also get up and over those really thick seams. But between this tool and the longer stitch length makes it super easy.